I think because of COVID, it really heightened the responsibility of urban agriculture and community gardens in the city. You know, there was one point where people say, oh, you know, you have these community gardens and they're going to grow food to feed the masses. And it wasn't about that. It was about people within communities growing food that was healthy, that was culturally appropriate, and growing food in a way that was sustainable for their source of living. And so I think what the pandemic had done is really bring to the forefront how essential these community gardens are. Well, a successful food garden will look like and can look like if there's a partnership between community and government. And I say that because I said in New York City and within the country, any land and any municipality has political consequences. Because at one time, there was a sprawl of so many vacant lots. The city didn't have any money, and so people came in and turned those empty lots into community gardens. But then as the community garden movement started to flourish, all of a sudden, here comes big development coming in and saying, whoa, these communities look good. Whoa, you know, we can take these gardens and we can build housing and whoa. And it's like, wait a second, you know, we've been here when nobody wanted to be here. And so that was the beginning of people understanding their civil rights, but also for government to understand what the people were trying to say. I always tell government, you know, in communities, ask us what we want instead of what we need. When you ask a community like us what we want, it comes from a position of power. Asking us what we need comes from a position of deficit. And so trying to have that marriage that works where you have the community and you have the political will working together, which is really, really important. You know, in the beginning, I was focusing on just growing food. But while I was in that garden, I started to hear social issues around the environment, people having high incidence of asthma, social issues around health, people having problems with type 2 diabetes, obesity, because of the food that they were eating, economics, people having problems trying to find a job, a living wage job. And so for me, all of a sudden, I had to look at, you know, gardening differently, and that food was at the center, and it was all interconnected. And so for me, you know, people will ask time and time again, is the food system broken and needs to be fixed? Yes, it does. And then I realized, wait a second, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. It's a care system. So the food system doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to change. And that change comes with community power. Putting the power back into the hands of the community to make decisions. Yeah, first of all, understand what people are trying to do. They're just trying to feed their family. Understand that. And not be afraid to give people pockets of land, especially those that are in impoverished area. Because let's face it, folks, I'm 68 years of age. I'm not owning nothing. Because I don't live long enough to own. We don't live long enough to own anything. So why do we always think about owning something that we don't live long enough to own? There is this mindset that by helping poor people, you're taking something away from people who are wealthy. No. You help poor people to move up. What is it that's preventing society for people to grow their own food in small spots? It's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win, especially globally. We're trying to fight hunger and poverty, and I hear from the lips of so many people is that we want people to eat healthy food. Well, if you give them the ability to grow their own food, that's a step in the right direction.